Good morning.
I'm Gary, and I'm a joiner, carpenter, woodworker and maker of stuff. This is my workshop studio. It's like a second home. It's been my career for over 40 years, and I just want to share with you some of my tips, tricks and methods of my trade and how I work. It's mostly build-ins, bookcases, fitted alcoves and blah blah blah. Let's see what I'm making this week. You know, I was going to say something and it's just went totally out of my head. Why is it? I switch the camera on, I've got it all planned out what it is I'm going to say, and then as soon as the camera goes on I go, oh, what was I going to say? And my camera's still running, I'm just wondering if I should go and do something daft. You know, sometimes you'll see me in my videos and I pick up my cordless drill and I'll go, pow, 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 pow. What guy has not done it? I'm sure at one time you have picked up and went bang, 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 bang. I think it's the kid in this. Even though I'm picking up and I know it's a cordless drill, but inside my head it's like, but I'm sure you guys in your life have, like, you couldn't resist the temptation. You pick up a cordless drill and you just want to go like this. Well, punk, do you feel lucky? It's a bit like that. But really, even though I'm doing it, it's just like being a big kid actually. Anyway, sorry, waffling. Put on the camera. Totally forgot what I was going to say. This week is the continuation of the full wall bookcase that I'm doing. Let me just give you a wee reminder of what it is. I'm changing this from this to this, and I decided to put up a series of 6 episodes, splitting the job up into sections, and the last video will be me fitting it. I think the first video is, well, you'll have to go back and watch it, but this video is making fluted columns. What is fluted columns, you might ask? Well, here's a fluted column. It's basically a length of timber, oak I mainly use, and it's got grooves running it to create the fluted effect. And 9 times out of 10 I'll finish it off with a rosette. That's a rosette there. So this week is me making the fluted columns. But this is my method. There are other methods out there. And also, this past couple of weeks, my subscription has jumped a wee bit, and even when I see my subscription jump by 1, I go, oh, that's brilliant, because in YouTube world, my subscription is quite low, and of course you don't make anything off of YouTube. So I'm doing this for the love of it. I'm doing this because I get to the end of my career and I want to be able to share some of the stuff with you guys that are passionate for woodwork and carpentry. I say you guys. Women, there's a lot of women. I've got this subscriber, the carpenter's daughter. I'm so delighted when I see women giving it a go. I think it's absolutely brilliant because it's a male dominated industry, I think, woodwork. But that's changing. I think changes are coming. Next video is going to be about, not this one, next video is going to be about the cornicing. And the final video will be me fitting it on a job. And like I say in most of my videos, I try to do as much as possible in a workshop. I find it irritating. I'm doing things, cutting things, drilling holes or whatever it is of pieces that I could have done in the workshop. You're always going to end up with having to do some sort of fitting, cutting and drilling on a fitting while you're on site. But you just try and get as much of it done as a workshop as possible. Back to work. Anyway, so our flute's on a drawing. Where is the drawing? Let's see a looky. There, getting clarted. I don't know if you can see this, but that says 152 millimeters. So that's where I'm going to start the flutes. Up here there's a rosette. So the rosette, of course, is a square. And also that's about 25 to 30 millimeters. Say, I'm going to say 30 millimeters on this job. If this is 95 mil wide, that's a 95 mil square. Plus 30 millimeters, that's 125 millimeters. I don't mind drawing on my drawing. 125 to there. So this is 152 to here. Or say it's 150. 150. I'm trying to do this, hold the camera in one hand and measure, tape measure and mark in the other hand. So I'm going to mark this 150, better go like that just to be on the safe side. Then the height of this column, total height is 2 meters and 36 millimeters. Did earlier, 2 meters 36 millimeters. That's it there. Then we've got 95, so I'm going to come back 95 mil on that because that's our rosette. That's it there. And then I'm going to come back a further 30 mil for our stop of a flute. So that's our flute stop. So our flute start is here. That's our flute, start of our flutes. This will make sense shortly. And that's our flute stop. Now it's my 3 flutes, equal spaced in between the width. Here is the cutter. That's the sort of profile of the flute, and I'll only use about 6 millimeters of depth in total. So it's not like you go in loads. You don't need to go deep to show the profile. It just goes in enough. That's the profile of the cutter that goes into the rocker table. One more thing, rubber gloves. When I put on these rubber gloves, I mean, it's not so much that protects my fingers from the blade, it's more that now this is far easier for me to push when I've got rubber gloves. And silicone spray, I'll give it a spray. I'll just give this a wee spray on my bench, because what you try to do is to not, once you put it down and start moving, you don't want to stop. Because if you stop, and like this, it tends to, you can sometimes leave the marks on it. See the difference between silicone, it just makes it a wee bit easier to go around. Ready to go now. To explain what it is that I'm doing here, I have at one end a stop block that I clamp to the bench, and I butt the oak to that, and then I push it down onto the car, and then I push it across to the other end where there's another stop block, and as soon as it hits that stop block I'll lift it up. I try to do it in one smooth run. It doesn't like to stop. If you stop mid-flow, you're going to leave a mark where it stopped, and when you do get to the other end, as soon as you hit that stop block you lift it upwards, otherwise you will burn a mark on it. And every time I run a flute, when I go into the next one, I take out the spacer piece that's in between and I place in another one set to that flute. I do them all at one spacer, and then I change it and I do them all at the next spacer, and so forth until I get the fluted columns run. Didn't take long at all, and that's it, and that looks really good. These are getting painted. A lot of you guys will be saying, what are you doing painting oak? But the whole thing's a paint unit, and I don't like using soft wood on things that are going to be knocked and kicked and what have you. So, and that's me coming in line. This is my first one that I used to mark up. So the job itself is the setting up, and what a difference it is when you spend a bit of time to set it up properly, do all your measuring twice, and these things. The only thing you've got to remember to do, that's why I like to do one, do them all at this, and then change this, and then do them all and next change that, rather than try to do one, because you're going to forget. You're going to end up running with something missing, and that goes on there. Now when I put it on there, to stop these from sliding forwards that used to do, I just put in a little screw here, and it hits there, and it stops it from sliding forward, just in case you're asking that question. Alright guys, next thing is the rosettes. Here's a rosette, I call them swirls. I make them on a lathe, and I make up a jig that holds them in, so that's the right size for here. I can just get us in to go in here one-handed, and I just hit that on, and that's that. And then when it's time to come off again, I just have to slip something in there. This is all hidden inside, so that's it there. That comes off, and that saves me having to set this into a what you call that things again? Oh, everything is escaping me. But anyway, that's that. So my swirl on my rosette, it sits on my column like so. So it just sits there. Of course, it doesn't just get glued onto there. I actually sink it in to the column. So I'll rebate that down, which I'll show you later on. So I'll make an R4 like that. Put this one on. Right, that's both the same size. So. Now here's a sort of a mark, a little stick with my sizes. So that's it there. Remember I said to you before, if you're going to measure something, don't use a tape measure. So if I set that up against there, like so, and then I'll set this there, and my center should be there.
I know we'll make it right. We've been here before. I know we crossed the line. It's hard to ignore. This weight bears down on me. You've got me on my knees. Don't you give me sweetness and light for my restless mind.
And that's it. So that's close enough. I'm going to look at that two together. So I'll give us a wee sand, even though it doesn't actually need it. It's quite smooth. I'll just touch it with 120 grit. I'll get the next one done. Right, that's 4 rosettes, or swirls, or whatever you want to call them. That's them run. Now I'm going to sink this into the fluted column, and I've got a device over here. Basically, I've made this device. It's got a router underneath it, and with a bit sticking up. It's a wide bit, and it's just for rebating. That's mainly what it is, so that this would slide along this. You'll see it in action. It's the face that's been rebated, like I say. I can just touch the router like that, make sure the cutting piece is just the tip of it. It's just sticking out. And of course I've swung over the dust extraction, swung over into here. That's quite effective. So if I just offer it in there and just touch it like that, I can put the camera down for it. It's difficult to do this with the camera. This is my stop. I'll put my block in here like this, or the block that I'm taking out, that I'm rebating. That's the size, and I'll just slide that over to touch. That's it, touch in there. No, I'll clamp this down. And what I think I'll do, put a wee mark on the back of here, like a square. Just check it for square. Check it, see how square it is. Beautiful. So that's fine. I put a wee mark on there with my pencil. I'm just going to cover my mark. And it's just so that I'd rather touch it up to fit this than to make it too big. Right, I'll just put the camera over here and I'll go and run it. Instruction.
Hanging round after last orders. We're still so far from home. It's like we're burning into embers. Just a fire burns a cold world. As the days keep rolling on, we're living in hell again.
I don't like to take off too much at once, like it's sunk into there. It definitely needs a bit deeper now, but I'll do it all at this first and see how it is. That's just bang on flush here, so it's just nice. So I'm glad that I just covered that with a pencil line. Now I'll go and do the rest of them. Alright folks, that's the columns made, and I've got the rosettes or swirls, whatever you want to call them. They are glued, fixed on. They've all been sanded up and it's really nice. Now this will get attached to side panels, or two of them will. That's the side panel between the two units. That's one of the reasons why one side of the panel has got like a wider rail than the other side, because this has got to be plus the thickness of the column. And the other column at the other side of the unit, that'll get fixed on site. So when the unit gets fitted. Okay folks, thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, you're amazing. Please share and like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to see more of this. Share it on your Google Twit Face thing. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, the link is in the description below. I'll see you the next time. Bye for now. That's a sample of the corners there. So that's what we're making. So I've got all these sections cut. I've got this section run. I've just to run this bit, which is not a lot to do, and run this bit.